Hello and welcome, or welcome back to my channel. My name is David Novak. Let me just angle this a touch. Oh, now it should turn that way. Oh well. I am just going to open some mail. Here is the first. I am going to try to do some reading this evening. It is easy to become distracted. I think she likes to be on camera because whenever I set out to film, there she is. Oh, I cut open the thing, but it's still not open. Oh, yes, it is. Okay. Hi, kiddo. I said I wasn't going to do this, but I've decided one must do what one can to keep one's sanity in these trying times. Flood myths of early China. An absolutely perfect copy. And this looks bigger. I did not expect something this big. Oh my. Well, this is one that I'm really excited about. That flood one I'm not so excited about, really, but it looks like it's in decent shape as well. The construction of space in early China. Oh my goodness, there's, you know, the design of these other books that I have been reading, and where is the one I just started? Should be here somewhere. Oh, I don't see it. Oh, it's under here. These old Yale books. This is along the lines of the Shang Civilization book written by Casey Chang that I just finished. But everything about its layout, the printing of it, and look at how white and clean these pages are. Look at this, though. I mean, you just open it up, and there's illustrations. I mean, the typesetting is great. And in this case, the paper is like nice and thick. It's just really, this is just the most magnificent book. Now, I've only just started it, not even gotten through the introduction. And so I don't know how the writing sets with me yet, but I have good faith in it. But then you look at this, I mean, the construction of space in early China. And you would think there would be some sort of illustrations and that in here. Look at that, nothing. Nothing. But at least, and how clumsy is the insertion of the Chinese text? At least it's there. I mean, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. At least it's there, but nothing at all like this book. I mean, this follows along the lines of the other book, where usually if something is mentioned, it is initially it's given the in this case the Wade Giles transliteration, but then at least at its first mention they always put the Chinese character, so you can see some of that and just how nicely inset that is as opposed to this. This is State University of New York Press. Well, you can't expect them to compete with Yale. But regardless, I am glad that it's there. Yeah, this book really could have used some illustration, I think. This is from the concert I went to. Oh, I'm showing it to you upside down. And it was really sort of a bad thing. Here it is. The first piece was a piano concerto, and just before the concert began, some lines of poetry popped into my head. And so I didn't want to lose them, so I typed them out as well as I could on my phone. And then the concert started. And then throughout the first piece, I was just thinking about that and thinking about the situation it was based upon. It is the video I did yesterday about Peter Thiel. I think I could put a link to it, or you can just scroll back a little bit. And then there was the intermission. The pianist played an encore, and I have no idea what it was, but I was so distracted throughout the whole thing. And then Act 2, after the intermission, was Shostakovich, and I have no idea what the piece was, but it was a 62-minute or 63-minute piece with no pauses even. It was not divided into movements. It was just straight through. And it was a rousing performance in parts. I have had good listening experiences with Shostakovich. A little bit long, having been unprepared for something like that. And at times I was able to focus better. But at one point I wrote the other video which I put up, the epitaph for Elon Musk, and that I just composed in my head, and I didn't bother with writing it down or anything. It was just a 4-line stanza, and so it was secure enough that I was able to not worry about it. And then when we got home afterward, I wrote it out and then made the videos. I resent this, actually, this being called forth to pay so much attention to the breakdown of our country, but it is what I feel compelled to do. I mean, I'm not going to just ignore it, and if a thought comes into my head, or if the muse delivers me of a poem, I am not going to shun that. I'm going to speak it, or I'm going to post it in a video, because I would like to do my part. The latest occurrences are just unimaginably bad and frightening. I would like it to be over. I've decided, unless I forget about it, to not cut my hair until this regime, meaning not just Trump, but this whole regime, is cleared out. It may be that the public wants to have some sort of an authoritarian regime. As I've said, I'm not invested one way or another ultimately, but it should be much better quality than this. I mean, this is really pathetic. Today, they're making stabs at destroying the Department of Education. For years, I have been aware that there was a deliberate and concerted effort to make the public stupid. And I don't know why it was never talked about, but it never was. And all of a sudden now, folks are all admitting it. This was done deliberately. Why weren't you saying that 20 years ago? You know, I should say that if you are not sure how to educate yourself, poetry is always a good place to start. And I don't think you can do any better than Emily Dickinson. I mean, she was really what put me on the road. Of course, there's a lot you won't get from poetry, but some of the important stuff pertaining to language you will. I'm picking out poems for the next reading, and one of them talked something about truth. I can't remember what it was, but if you spend a good amount of time reading the poems by Emily Dickinson, you will learn to identify truth, which is of great usefulness in the world. However, if you spend a great deal of time reading lies, then you won't be able to discern truth. And then this big law firm in, is it New York? Weiss or something, has capitulated to some sort of executive order written by Trump, since rescinded, but they paid a bunch of money to, I don't know, to Trump, I guess. And they have always been a strong, principled litigation firm, according to Hawk Podcast, who I follow. And this rolling over for the administration basically indicates that when somebody needs a lawyer to defend them against the government, they will not have this option. And probably pretty soon they will not have any options. So this regime, the Trump regime, can go after anybody it likes. Liz Cheney, I'm sure Trump is thinking in his mind he wants to go after Biden. And so these folks will have less and less recourse available to them, less possibility of legal defense, which is a frightening prospect. So I went through the book of Dickinson to pick out my poems for the next reading, and it calmed me down a little bit. And so I think I will try to read a little bit more. Last night after the concert, I was not able to read my usual Parkman, but I have gotten back on the flow with that, with my 2 chapters per night. And what really pushed me into it, I had been abroad, and coming back, I just was not getting inspired. But I decided, with this whole possibility constantly in the air that a attack may be in preparation one day of my country against Canada, that my country wants to take over Canada, I thought, well, I have friends in Canada. I have family in Canada. I might as well try to learn about the history a little bit better. And so far, the first couple of books of the Parkman history of the French and English in North America deals pretty exclusively with the area along the St. Lawrence Seaway and Canada. And so learning my history better seems reasonable, since my government wants to, and actually is being aggressive and hostile to our neighbors, both to the north and to the south. wants to threaten them. The sooner this regime gets ushered out, the better. But it is hard to, it's hard to expect that. You watch some of these videos done by these MAGA people and you realize that they are completely untethered to any sort of reality. They must be existing in these echo chambers. And of course, you know, reading poetry is one of the things that would help prevent that kind of thing. But what can we do? So I've opened those books and I've chatted a little bit. It was just a chance to let you see the cat a little bit. Thank you for stopping by my channel.